Alright, so we're back with another video. So this video is just going to be a follow-up of the previous video where I showed you how to create a top-level comment on a YouTube video. So this video is going to cover how you can reply to comments. So if you want to reply to a comment, you actually need to use the comments resource and not comment threads. Okay, I went over the differences between comments and comment threads. Basically, comment threads are just top-level comments. Okay, and it makes sense because when you create a top-level comment, you're really creating a brand new thread where other people can reply to. So hopefully that clarifies the differences between those two. Okay, let's go ahead and go through this API. So this API requires authorization, and we already enabled the scope in the previous video, YouTube.force.ssl. If you have not enabled this scope, just make sure you go over to your google.ts file inside the strategies folder, paste in this youtube.force.ssl scope, and then re-authenticate. So, and then get the new access token and then use that instead of the old one, because we modified the scopes. And in order for you to actually use the latest access token with the newest scope, you need to obviously use that one by re-authenticating. Very important. Okay, so we need to make a post request to this URL. So let's copy this. And I'm going to go ahead and grab the access token. So this is going to be the same one from the previous video. So I'll just go ahead and copy this. And we'll go ahead. I really should put this in a variable, to be honest with you. But it's whatever, it's fine. Okay, so now that we have our authorization header and we have the access token, we need to go ahead and let's just set the query parameter first. We'll set this to ID and snippet. And we'll go ahead and set the request body. So for the request body, you're going to need to have two properties to be set. The text original and the parent ID. Now the text original is going to be the actual comment that you want to write, like the actual content itself. And the parent ID is what I assume the actual ID of the comment. Okay, so I think you can just easily grab that from the API. So if you want to do this programmatically, you could do that. Okay, so you could, for example, fetch a bunch of comments on a YouTube video, and you can just get the ID and then reply to certain comment. Okay, so yeah, that's just my best guess over here. So if I go to this get request, so I did this in the previous video where I showed you how to fetch the comment threads. And you can see that right over here, I have two comments, right? I have one comment that I created through the API and one comment that I created through the actual YouTube video UI. So I'll just go ahead and copy the ID of one of these because I assume that that's what the parent ID is supposed to be anyways. And I think that's a fair assumption. So let's go ahead and pass in the request body. So we'll need to pass in snippet, which is an object. We have the text original. So this is going to be, hi there, how are you? So this is going to be the comment that we want to write as a reply. And the parent ID will be the comment ID. And let's go ahead and click post and let's see what happens. So we did not get any issues. We got 200. Okay, seems like it worked. So let's go ahead and actually look at the video and let's refresh. And let's see what happened. And you can see that we have a reply, and it worked perfectly. Great. Awesome. Seems like that executed well. All right, cool. So now that we know how to reply to comment threads, let's explore what else we can do with the comments resource. Because we actually have a lot more methods that we can use compared to comment threads. Because with comment threads, you can only fetch and insert. With comments, you can fetch the comments, you can insert comments, you can also update comments. You can mark as spam, you can set the moderation status, and you can also delete. So what I'll do is I'll do an update. So let's see, for update, all we need to do is, let's see. This is a little bit weird because it says that if this method is successful, it returns a comment resource, but how do we make sure that we update the correct comment? Because it says right over here that you can set the values for these properties, text original, but I assume that we definitely need to provide the ID of the, I assume that we definitely need to provide the ID of the comment. So it doesn't make sense why it doesn't specify that there. I think it's implying that it uses the same request bodies from the previous one. Yeah, so this example updates the text of an existing comment, which is identified by the ID property value. Okay, and I think we can actually add the ID over here. Okay, yeah, I think we got it. So let's go ahead and I'll just use a pull request. I'll just change it to a pull request because I don't want to make a new tab, and I'll leave the same ID and snippet for the part query parameter. And the only thing that I'll change is I'll go ahead and update the text original property for the request body. And instead of, I mean, I guess we could probably leave the parent ID here. But I also saw that there was an ID property up top over here that we can add. But let's just do it this way and see what happens. Let's do hi. Let's do send. Okay, so it says invalid metadata. Okay, that's okay. At least we know. At least we tried. So I think what? Oh, actually, yeah. So I think what we need to do is let's get rid of this. Smooth this out. Whoops. Let's go ahead and add the ID one level out like this. So instead of parent ID, we'll do ID. So it seems like that worked. So my assumption was correct. So, and it did say in the docs too, because I happened to saw that after I thought about this. It said that, which is defined by the ID property value. And I don't understand why they don't mention them like right over here though, but it's whatever. But you can see that right over here in the Explorer, you can see what type of you can see like what properties are available, and ID is right over there. So it makes sense that that's for the comment ID. So let me go ahead and look at the comment now. Let's refresh the page. And you can see that if I look at the comment, it says hi. So this actually updated the comment thread, so the top level comment, which is actually interesting because we weren't able to actually see that update in the comment threads. But I guess using update allows you to update even the comment threads itself, which, you know, I guess that also is good. But I wanted to actually update the reply, but let me go ahead and just grab the reply real quick. Because I think what happened, let me do this. Let me go ahead and do this. Let's just do reply. Let's create another reply. Let's refresh. We should see that reply over here. Okay, and I want to edit the reply now. So I'll need the actual ID of this comment. And I think I could grab that. I think this is the actual ID itself, right over here. So what I can do is I can remove this now, and I'll set the ID to the reply over here. Oh, and this is supposed to be a put. Okay, so that worked, and let's go ahead and make sure that this reply was modified. And it says edited reply, perfect. And you can see that it says the edited 44 seconds ago. Perfect. So we know that this works. So that's great. We're exploring how this resource works. Okay. And of course, if we wanted to delete the comment, actually, you know what? In the last video, I did say that I did imply that you probably can't delete comment threads, but I think we can actually use this function, this comments.delete function, to delete the top level comment, I think. And we'll try that out actually. So let me go ahead and do this. I'll go ahead and use the delete method, and I'll provide the ID of the comment that we want to delete. So the comment that I want to delete is this. Let's see, let me refetch the comments. Okay, so I'll delete the hi comment that I had edited. Okay. And so let me just change this to a delete, and we can remove the request body because I think this actually takes a query parameter instead. Yep. So the query parameter is the ID, and all we'll do is just pass in the ID of the comment, click send. This is 204, which is in fact the correct response code sent. And if I were to refresh the video now, that whole comment, including all of its replies, should be gone. And I can also go ahead and get the ID of this comment over here. Wait, let's see. Oh, this one right over here, perfect. This one, which is the other comment thread, and I can go ahead and just delete that by passing that in as a value. And now that should be gone from the channel or from the video, and we don't have any comments anymore. Perfect. So yeah, my apologies. In the last video, I said that you cannot delete comment threads, but you actually just needed to use the same methods that were on the comments resource. Okay, and I assume that all of the methods here work with comment threads as well, which, you know, makes sense, right? So yeah, that should be pretty much it. Hopefully you all enjoyed this video, and I'll see you in the next one. Peace out.